kind of, you know, look at the chemtrails. Jesus, bad spray. So yesterday, at this exact time in this exact spot, the sky was crystal clear blue. Today, we have all kinds of not real clouds, but hey, don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. So, what was I wrong about? No, maybe I should wait a minute. I don't think I'm gonna be on very long today, though. So maybe I should just spit it out. Man, it's so nasty today. Yeah. Cole. Hello, Cole. Cole chilling. So yeah. Oh, what was I wrong about? Well, yesterday, we had a pretty crazy emergency. Well, it was a weird situation. So, I decided my kids were at, we'd go to the park. I mean, it's really a weird spot, 12, 14. We're really trying to start letting them go, let them have more freedoms and stuff. So we always go to a park. Not always. We go to a park sometimes after school where other kids that they go to school with go. And after a while, I was like, I asked them, like, because my oldest was going to hang with the one girl that they always hang out with. My youngest, he wasn't going to. So I'm sitting there waiting for him, and after 45 minutes or so, he comes up and he's like, "Can I just stay and hang with them?" And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. That's what it is. Because, the girl lives less than a mile from the park, and they can just walk through the woods to get to the park and to her house and all that. So they, Jesus Christ, get the fuck out of the way. So I leave, and I go home and tell them, text the girl, "Hey, we're gonna pick the kids up at 6:30, blah, blah, blah." Well, there was a bit of confusion, and my youngest left his jacket at the park. So he said he needed to go back to the park to get his jacket, but ended up actually walking the 2 miles to our house. Well, he ran, he jogged. But because we all thought he went back to the park, that's where we went to go look for him. Because he just sort of was like, I'm just going to go, and like didn't wait for the parents. It's fucked up, but he was like, well, I don't want to burden the guy. He said, I don't want to make the guy drive around and go. Like the dad. That's what we do. We drive people around, drive our kids around. But he didn't want to be a burden to the dad, so he said he was going to go to the park. Well, again, he ended up instead, for some fucked up reason, going home. But I had went back to the park because I got the call, like, we can't find him. And I was like, oh shit, so I go to the park thinking he's going to be there, and he's not. And I drive all around the park, and I don't see him. And so I happen to, the dad also driving around looking for him. He's like, I hadn't seen him. I've driven, through here. I'm going to go through this neighborhood, and I'm going to see if we can find him. Kids said they might have gone to the store, whatever. So another 5 minutes or so goes by, and 10 minutes or whatever, driving around yelling his name out the window. Look at that. Yeah, it's all normal, natural cloud stuff, guys. No spray there. So I can't find him, and I call my wife, and I'm like, I can't fucking find him, and she's like, you gotta call the police. So I call the police, and this is where I say I was wrong, kind of, because I always tell you guys there are no good cops, and I still believe it. I think they do a good job at their job, but are they good cops? No. Are they standing up for people's rights? Are they arresting the bad cops? Are they, no. So that's where I'm my selfishness is like, but again, it's like I hate when people make a big deal out of like, the cop got in the shootout with the person, or the fireman, saved the, as noble as it is, like a fireman is fucking amazing, no doubt. But it's his job. He's doing his job. It's amazing when somebody who's not well trained to do the job ends up doing the job. That's amazing. And I'm so grateful to have people that will do that, and that are psychopaths will do all that shit. Not all bad. Not all bad, not all good, that's for sure. Well, no. If any of them were actually good, there would be no bad cops, because the good cops would eliminate the bad cops. They would arrest their own. They would call out the tomfoolery and the shady shit that goes on. So I call the cops, and I this is where I have to give them their props. They were there within 5 minutes. They were hey buddy. Did you put something on? No. Alright, okay, well, you're supposed to be at school. And it's not even 11 yet. So. Go ahead, watch videos, why not? I don't care. My boy gets braces today. So they show up, and they're like, there's like 10 of them. No, there's like 6 of them. They all show up, and it's interesting because they treated me. They're skeptical. They're skeptical right off the bat. So, when I'm telling them the story, I think what they do is multiple cops will ask you the same questions, so that if something unfortunate or whatever does happen, they can go back and ask each cop, well, what did he say? And see if you slip up or said something different from, one cop to the next. But they're immediately like, I'm asking, like, can I go looking for him? Can I go yell for him? So, and they're like, no, sir, you got to stay here. Like, I was almost like I was detained. It was kind of weird. But they were like, listen, we need you to be, you can't be freaking out. I know it's your son, and I know you're concerned, but we need you to have a clear head, and da-da-da-da-da. And so they say, we've got a canine going to the house where he was at. We've got a drone flying over the area, looking to see if we can see anything. Matt, good morning. And the canine is there to, like, essentially to find the body if there is one. He's gonna. They were like, we don't want anybody muddying up the tracks. We're gonna have the dog sniff around, and then he'll follow whatever path he took, and blah blah blah. So they're like, we need to go over to the original house where they were at, and start from there. So everybody needs to go meet over there. So I'm dry. I go to leave out of the park, make left out of the park to go to where I'm going, and I get this call from my. No, actually, did I call you? No, I called you.
I called you.
I thought I was calling you just to let you know, and you were like, hey, whatever. Well, she calls. She's like, he just fucking walks in the front door. The problem was, our house was this way, and he went this way, or he was supposed to have gone this way, but he ended up going this way.
He said that he thought our house was closer than Rotary Park was.
No, he didn't.
That's what he said to me.
I know, but he didn't think that way. He's not that dumb. But he the cops, I let them know, and they call everything off. And the thing is, though, they have to follow us home because they have to make sure. They have to see him, make sure he's okay, like, because their whole thing is initially like, you did something. Like, that's sort of their attitude. And you have to, like, prove that that's not the case. But like I say, as far as their jobs go, they did their jobs very, very well. But does that make them good? No. No, we're not. Like, they might be good at their jobs, but are they good? Again, until I start hearing about cops arresting other cops for breaking the law, I don't. It's the guy could be a great person. He really could be. He could be a great person. He could do his job really well. He could follow all the rules. He could be somebody that doesn't violate people's rights. Yeah, bud. Probably not. What? What? Okay, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Didn't give Nick his vitamins this morning. But like I say, like, just because he does everything right doesn't mean he goes after the bad ones. And maybe they're I don't know. It's just it's such a weird thing to think about. I respect police, no doubt about it, and I appreciate them, and I think they're a necessity. I don't think we need to get rid of the cops and wherever the whole defund. What a weird thing that was. Defund the police movement. Defund the. Why? What would defunding do? How would defunding make any of it better?
Well, DOG has just ordered the TSA to stop paying for canine veterinary costs and food for the 1,000+ canines that are on staff. That's when you defund shit and it falls the fuck apart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The TSA, the Transportation Service Administration.
Okay.
They employ over 1,000 canines. DOG just cut the funding to pay for their vet bills and their food for those dogs. So who the fuck's gonna pay for it? Those dogs keep people safe.
Those dogs don't keep people safe.
Yeah, they do. They sniff out bombs.
That never happens. It never happens.
Well, we don't know about it, so we're not supposed to.
I love when stupid people say stuff like like that. Maybe be safe like that. Like I didn't just say that. That's so stupid. Why? Why do you say stupid things? I mean, I know why this character says stupid things. This character says stupid things all the time. But you know, the notion of the TSA being this it doesn't. The TSA doesn't do shit. The TSA, see, this is what I mean. Like the TSA and the airport, like they're a gang. They rob people. They don't prevent crime. If you're traveling and you have what they deem to be too much cash on you, they just take it. And you good luck getting it back. You can record it. You can record the interaction. You can have every beat of evidence, and they just won't give it back. And they just take thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh wait, he's gonna be bad about this. Oh yeah, that's why you can't watch videos in the morning. Yeah, I need this. Thanks.
What?
Sorry. Watch TV. Yep, you can watch it later. Man. Nah. Boy's getting brazen again. Taking shit away. TSA robbing people. Shit.
Could have been right, like I don't remember. That's a good place to start. Prosthetic labs and services. See if there's more footage at the hospital. Tell me that you got something.
Yeah, but you're not gonna like it.
Just so you know. Video shows TSA agents allegedly stealing from MIA passengers. From missing in action passengers?
Mission Impossible actors.
I'm trying to see TSA theft statistics. While TSA theft incidents are rare, it's important to be aware in the last decade, fewer than 500 out of the 150,000 TSA employees have been arrested on suspicion of theft. See, this isn't... I actually saw a video on YouTube. There's a guy who is an attorney, right? Yeah, you can carry up to 10K through any... no, you can't. So you think you can, but you can't.
10K for what?
You can carry up to 10K through any airport. Doofus is saying.
I mean, legally you can.
Legally, you
They'll
should be able
stop
to.
you and search you because of it. Well, it
And
depends.
they'll take it. There's plenty of instances where they take it. See, again, you just don't. You don't get. Maybe I can find the video. TSA stealing.
What was Hetty's last known location? I paid my last call to her to a cell tower in South LA.
Money.
Just because Hetty's there doesn't mean Mackenzie's gonna be there. Now at this point, she has more than
Yeah. Let's see. Airport C7, TSA secrets never told the passengers. TSA agent. Oh, look, it's standard black guy. That's the guy you're scared of, right? I mean, it's crazy to think like you can't steal or you can't carry money like that our system, like this is that whole idea of you think you're free. You are not. No. Or how about like let's say you have $80,000 in the bank, and you go to the bank and say, I want to withdraw my money immediately. I need $80,000. Chances are they're not going to be able to do it. Like, they'll tell you we need a week or whatever. They won't. They won't be able to come up with what you need. And it's just more examples of law enforcement. Flying with cash, law enforcement can steal your money without telling you why. Can seize your money without telling you why. Here's a news report about it.
Where is the risk in our supply chain? How can we... The commercial break. It's
This is
happening
from a year ago.
regularly at Hartsfield-Jackson International.
Listen to this one. Fly with cash, and law enforcement could take it without ever having to prove you did something wrong.
We were talking about this in the commercial break. It's happening regularly at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray is here now. So, Justin, it can be a long and expensive process, you found out, to get that money back, even if it's legitimately yours.
And George, that's the wildest part of this whole thing. Not only are
That's
law
what I'm
enforcement
saying.
agencies
So
like DEA
on the books where it says, like, where if you look up, it says fewer than 500 TSA agents have been, arrested for this. And so really, out of the 150,000. Yeah, well, maybe fewer than 500 have gotten in trouble for it. That doesn't mean they're not doing it. And it's the TSA alerts the airport, like the marshals, and then the marshals pull you off the plane or do whatever, and they take the money. And, and like they say, good luck getting it back. What?
seizing people's money at Hartsfield-Jackson without a warrant. They're keeping it.
Because I'm wrong, right? I'm
Ivor
wrong.
Jr. was flying from Atlanta to LA to shoot a music video.
I had about $8,500 on me.
Jerry Johnson was
Like, think about it. What happens to all those people? Like, what happens if you come to Michigan? We have tons of casinos downtown. Tons of them. We have tons of casinos downtown. Let's say you come to visit your family and you hit 25 grand.
People going overseas, they typically bring a bunch of cash.
Right, but let's just say you hit 25 grand. How are you supposed to get it home?
Have it sent to your bank account.
Right, sent to your bank account so then it can be text.
Well, not if it's under 10.
If
Or
you
can
hit
choose-
25 grand, like I just said,
Right, so you deposit it in 3 deposits if you're smart.
well, or if you have the time, or if you know to do that, or if you don't know that they will steal it and you won't be able to get it back. Most people do. I just said this to you, and you said, "No, come on." People on here said the same. Nah, come on. Now I'm telling you this is what's happening, and you're not gonna believe me because I look like this. But now that you see it on the news, what's that? Does that change your opinion? These guys don't lose their jobs. There's no reprimands for what these guys do. Well, here, let me just play the story.
to Phoenix with the cash to buy a truck at auction.
It was $39,500.
Both men left the airport with their cash gone, seized by law enforcement.
There's nothing different.
It's weird.
than being robbed.
They're
Somebody
both
come up
black.
with a gun and take your money and then walk off.
This is a picture a DEA agent snapped of Brian Moore. That's him in the green hair at the gate at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, heading to Los Angeles.
They announced we were about to start boarding, and I was approached by 2 women.
Moore says they asked if he was carrying guns or drugs. He wasn't. They asked about cash, which he did have.
I've never been in a situation to where I was being treated as a terrorist or a criminal.
Moore says he explained to the DEA agents the money was his to pay for his music video from the sale of his grandfather's car he inherited.
They put my money in a big Ziploc bag, and they told me I was free to go. They were like, you might want to leave or you're going to miss your flight.
This is Moore's money in the Ziploc. DEA kept the money, but never mentioned anything about a crime.
Nobody ever charged you with a crime.
I was never charged.
You were never convicted of a crime.
Look, it's a year ago,
They took your money.
and they're still sitting 8 feet apart because they're fucking stupid.
It happens every day at airports all across the country, including right here in Atlanta.
They don't want to prosecute the person. They just want their money.
Dick Albin is an attorney at the Institute for Justice. He fought in courts for years to get open records data from Homeland
Isn't it strange how this isn't like a huge story? Are you guys watching this going, wait, what? No, because I'm the crazy conspiracy theorist, right? You don't listen to the things I say. I'm fucking nuts. But you're hearing this is happening all over the country at airports. Just they seized 39,000 from the one dude and like 7,000 whatever from they seized $45,000, 46,000, almost $50,000 from just two people. This is just two incidents. Increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome as always. Because, you know.
Welcome once again to Leto's Law. Here's Steve Leto.
Look at it.
One of the stories sent to me by everybody, and this is an outrage. From Atlanta, and the Atlanta Black Star, but widely reported in many news outlets. He has mean friends.
Listen to this one. Fly with own studies. That data shows that here.
They're convicted. But they don't want to prosecute the person. They just want their money.
Dick Allman is an attorney at the Institute for Justice. He fought in courts for years to get open records data from Homeland Security on seizures. That data shows that here at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, just one agency, Customs and Border Protection, seized more than $108 million in cash from travelers between 2000 and 2016.
Jesus Christ. Sweetheart, just one airport between 2000 and 2016 seized over $108 million from people. A large percentage?
These law enforcement agencies get to keep the money that they seize, and they view these seizures as a source of revenue.
Jerry Johnson says he never
Why would they
heard
get
from
to
law
keep it?
enforcement again after they walked off with his $39,000 in cash.
Nobody ever contacted me. Nobody asked me any questions. I never heard nothing from them after they.
$39,000.
That's typical according to the government's own studies. A 2017 DOJ Inspector General review looked at a sample of 100 DEA seizures and found only 44 of those advanced or were even related to a criminal.
Out of 100 seizures, only 44 were related to a crime or in something along those lines.
Investigation. The same year, a Treasury Inspector General review found 91% of the money seized in cases it looked at was from a legal source.
Another thing said 91% of the money that they seized was from a legal source. 91% was legal money they had no right to.
Should be free to travel with their own money.
Brian Moore sued to get his money back. It took 2 years, and he won the case, but legal fees ate up most of his money by the time it was finally over.
After about an almost 2-year process, I got back a little under $3,000.
The DEA refused.
And so that it, I mean, that just shows you that it's corruption all the way up. Why wouldn't the judge, why would it take 2 years and all those legal, who, by the way, who do you think all those judges and lawyers and shit are? Cops kept looking at me funny yesterday. I couldn't figure out why, and then I got home and I'm like, oh yeah, the Hitler stash, the Houdini, or the Charlie Chaplin stash.
Our requests for an interview or even to provide written comment, directing us instead to a page on their website that says DEA, quote, uses forfeiture to attack the financial structure of drug trafficking and money laundering groups.
So it's, again, it's just once, oh, well, we seize the money from the people to do the war on drugs. So we can seize the money from more people. You know, I mean, it's just, they're stealing money from good people to go after drug addicts, to go after the drug traffickers.
Isn't that what our tax money's for?
No, our tax money
They
is
didn't return that money?
no, our tax money is for Israel. The one dude that lost the 7,000 said he only received about $3,000 back after everything was said and done.
Why?
He had to fight for 2 years in court to get it. So, legal fees and all that good stuff.
Worldwide. But Brian Moore is a military veteran and musician. Nobody ever provided any evidence claiming he was trafficking money or drugs.
I thought I would at least find out what I did wrong. And, to this day, I still haven't found out what was suspicious about me or what I did that was suspicious.
You know what it was. Look at your fucking face.
Moore is now suing the federal government again to try
Good
to
luck.
get his legal fees paid for all of this. Jerry Johnson also sued and eventually did.
Watch cops seize combat veterans' life savings. What are you about to watch? Is body cam footage from the obtained Nevada Highway Patrol. This is a true story.
That's what to tell you, Officer Brown. You're taking money out of your kids' mouths. Sorry, are you taking food out of your kids' mouths?
Like I said, we believe right now that this is drug proceeds, illicit currency.
Well, I'm going to prove to you that it's not.
Perfect.
So they stop you and they say, well, you look like you drugs, so we're gonna take your money. That's a combat veteran. That guy was old. That guy was an old fat white guy. You think it's because it's a race thing? No. It's because as racist as everything is, and as racist as they have us towards each other, at the end of the day, that's the distraction. It's like the boat, or it's like the busing situation. Where they have the black goyim and the white goyim, fighting each other, protesting each other. They have all these white goyim adults throwing rocks and shit at school buses. Because, we're so angry, but the one thing you're not allowed to say is these fucking Jays are destroying our, you can't blame the Jays. You can't blame the system. And just like with the money stitch and the TSA, when they steal your money, when the cops steal it, who do you tell? The Bussing Battleground, full documentary.
Racial epithets in historical context and to recount personal experiences.
Oh, I need to watch
Viewer
this.
discretion is advised.
So we're going to... I'm going to watch that later. I will include... Oh, wow, the comments actually stayed put. That's weird. That hasn't happened in a while. So I'm going to try to watch that. But you know what, actually? Let's see. It's at a leave in 10 minutes. So I want to do this real quick, and we'll go... LA, Alaska purchase. I really want to look this one up. All right. All right. I know I'm sort of jumping around here. This is something I wanted to talk about and I forgot about it. But this is important, and I'm going to have to do another video on it. But the Alaska Purchase was the purchase of Alaska from the Russian Empire by the United States for the sum of $7.2 million in 1867, equivalent to $129 million in 2023, which is just a joke. Can you imagine being able to buy Alaska and then all of the mineral rights and all the incredible money that comes from that? On May 15th of that year, the United States ratified the bilateral treaty that had been signed on March 30th, and American sovereignty became legally effective across the territory on October 18th. Here's a picture of the actual check that was used. Treasury warrant. It's a treasury warrant. Never heard it called that before. A treasury warrant. During the first half of the 18th century, Russia had established a colonial presence in parts of North America, but few Russians ever settled in Alaska, which seems strange, right? Because they're right there. And it's not like it would be that drastic of a change. I am tired. Long day yesterday and an even longer day today. Yay! I get to see my family today.
Hopefully not.
Oh,
Hopefully I can keep them going.
you're not going to be able to. It's going to be lots of fun. No, I do know. That's why I just, my wife is an incredible. You know, it's funny. In the movie Casino, that scene where the filthy, disgusting Jay is talking about how, you know, but my favorite thing is to watch my wife Ginger work the room. Everybody loves her, and it's. I have that feeling. I love watching my wife do her thing. She's just the biggest, like the best schmoozer in the world. TXT, I was hoping you'd show up today. We're talking about the Alaska purchase here today. Problem being, I'm going to have to end the video super early today and maybe come back later. But we're talking about the Alaska purchase real quick and how that worked out. The real, true, obviously believable story of the Alaska purchase. Oh, by the way, Uber got sprayed the shit out of last night and this morning. Just ridiculous. This is reminding me of what it was like in 2016. 2014, 15, and 16 were the worst years, and 16 was just 15 and 16 were just unfucking real. It's so crazy that people like that they can do it, and people will argue with you that it's normal, and then it stops. It doesn't stop. It drastically slows down. And people don't notice, like, hey, that thing I was just saying was super normal doesn't seem to be happening anymore. And then Trump gets in office, and lo and behold, it picks right back up. It starts right back where it was. And it's just, I don't know how you do that. I really don't. What about the purchase of Upper Michigan? Oh, that's another good one. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to look that one up. By the way, in case everybody's, confused or mistaken, whatever, the main purpose of this feed is for me to be, for me running for president 2028 under the platform that we eliminate the cult that runs this country. You kick them out. And if you want to be a part of that cult, go live in Israel. We're not going to pay you anymore. And we can see how Israel does on its own and how the Jays do on their own because they're so good, right? Anyway, this is going to be so funny. You're going to notice some similarities here. During the first half of the 18th century, Russia had established a colonial presence, blah, blah, blah. Alexander II of Russia, it's funny how, again, it's this world full of all these not connected countries. We're not all one world, one, it's one world government. And yet multiple people think calling themselves Alexander that's what you should do, whether it's Rome or it's Russia or whatever. But Alexander, having faced a catastrophic defeat in the Crimean War, like you've forgotten that it used to be Kiev and Crimea, but they did the Crimea thing in 2015 or whatever. Yeah, I know. Began exploring the possibility of selling the state's Alaskan possessions, which in any future war would be difficult to defend from the United Kingdom. Why would, like, you would think Alaska would be the hardest place for the UK to get to? Like, what's further away from the UK than Alaska? Yet they did this from Alaska? I am from Russia. Have you any thoughts? Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go sober Monday, because when the things create things, I do them. I change my profile picture when I'm supposed to put up a flag. I celebrate stupid holidays just because they make them stupid holidays. You guys remember Mario Day was, just a few days ago. March 10th, Mario Day. You guys celebrate Mario Day? You were told to. To this end, William H. Seward, the U.S. Secretary of State at the time, entered into negotiations with Russian diplomat Eduard D. Stock, I don't know, towards the United States acquisition of Alaska after the American Civil War. Seward and Stockhill agreed to a treaty for the sale on March 30th, 1867. Just think about that. Like, just in 1867, how did they even draw the lines for Alaska? How did they even know what Alaska looked like? And of course, it's after the Civil War, when whatever this bullshit, when our timeline clearly changes. 1865 is when the Civil War ended. Your Confederacy only lasted from 61 to 65. Woohoo, fly the flag. Woohoo. No, but you celebrate Hanukkah because you're disgusting. You're a disgusting piece of shit then. This guy's proud to celebrate the cutting and sucking of baby penises. That's what he's pointing it out, so you guys know. He celebrates Hanukkah, the celebration of the Maccabees, who supposedly, it's just a bullshit story. It's not a true story. It's such a fake story. But the Maccabees were Jays who went around killing Jays who refused to circumcise. And once they did circumcise, they made them join this army, this militia that went against the narrative, the Seleucids or whatever however you say it, Seleucids, I don't know, the empire at the time, so they could win the right to cut and suck baby penises. How fucking gross is that? That's what Hanukkah is all about. Celebrating that disgusting nonsense. Anyway, at an original cost of 2 cents per acre, 36 cents per acre in 2023, the United States was able to buy Alaska for 36 cents an acre. It's just such a stupid concept because the Russians were worried they wouldn't be able to defend it from the UK. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. The United States had grown by 586,412 square miles. And then just think about all the people there. They didn't have any say in it. They didn't have any, it was 2 guys worked out a treaty. How did these guys even? This is 1860s. Like, I think it's funny because you all sort of believe in Tartaria, you just don't realize it, right? When you accept these ideas and shit, when you accept the idea that Alaska was purchased in 1867, people riding around on horses, he rode his horse all the way from the United States all the way up through Alaska, so that he could meet with the Russian counterpart, and they could, I mean, and then he could hand him a check, and then that check was cashed. Like, think about that. Like, how were all of these things communicating back in the 1860s? Do you realize how stupid that is? Reactions to the Alaska Purchase among Americans were mostly positive, as many believed that Alaska would serve as a base to expand American trade to Asia. Some opponents labeled the purchase as Seward's Folly or Seward's Icebox, as they contended that the United States had acquired useless land. I mean, just think about like people saying that nowadays. I mean, that's just useless land up there, all that timber and oil and diamonds and blah, 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 and fishing and trade, and then controlling that strait and all that stuff. So in the 1850s, can I hit that? Russia owned both sides of it. They totally controlled the trade between both sides, and they didn't think that was worth keeping because they were worried about the UK. So the people in the UK would have to, I mean, how would they even, like, how would they even get there? They would either have to go through the United States, through Canada, or they would have to go across, you know, Europe and Asia. Like, it's just such a stupid story. It's just such a stupid story. Nearly all Russian settlers left Alaska in the aftermath of the purchase. Again, 1860s. People are like, oh, fuck this. This is now American. I'm going to ride and pack up all my stuff on our moving platform towed by horses. Pull that to the ocean. Sail a boat back across the ocean to Russia, and then set up new. I'll just go back there and resettle them. I mean, it's just stupid. All those settlers that went back to Russia, well, where'd they go? Alaska would remain sparsely populated until the Klondike Gold Rush began in 1896. Boy, I bet Russia was kicking themselves then when they found all that gold. They didn't know all the gold was there in 1860s. They could communicate. They could do all these things. They didn't know the gold was there. Originally organized as the Department of Alaska, the area was renamed the District of Alaska in 1884 and the Territory of Alaska in 1912, ultimately becoming the modern-day State of Alaska in 1959. Daniel, get ready, bub! All right, I'm going to have to do this later. I got to go. But we're going to go into the history of it and all that. Again, like I said, I was wrong, kind of. Like, I think the cops did an amazing job. They do their job very well. But does that mean they are good? And I still have yet to see that proof. I have yet to see the proof. I had family that worked for the Hudson Bay Company up there around that time. Recently just went through stuff at my great-granddad's. Pretty cool. Yeah, well, I would love to see that stuff. And I would love to know, like, there's just so much more to it. I mean, I don't know what stuff you saw, but I don't think that the narrative that you're given is an accurate one. And, you know, your family, not that they're doing anything maliciously or anything, that's what they think. Isn't it amazing how nobody's grandparents great-grandparents or whatever were any of these orphans? How come nobody talks about, yeah, my great-grandparents were on the orphan trains and blah, blah, blah? I absolutely want your perspective. So if you see that I'm live later, please join us. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to share, instead of Hollywoodism, which is the standard, you should always watch Hollywoodism. And if you want the link, it's in every other video I have. There'll be the link to the band page, www.the-bilderberg-group.com, where the free download is. Free music. Go check it out. It's amazing. You've never heard anything like it. It's the best music you've never heard. There's going to be the link to this documentary about how racist white Americans in the North were as late as 1980 something. 1984 was it? 1986. 1986 is when they finally implemented a bill. And then I'm going to leave you a link to our Facebook page so you can go see some music videos. But I'll give you stuff to do until I come back. Maybe you can watch the things I want to watch or whatever, and you'll have a better perspective than I will. We'll be talking about the Alaska Purchase next. So if you really want to bone up on your information and really come at me hard, go look that up. Have a great day. Pedophiles, pay attention. Pedophiles, kill yourself. It's not supposed to rain.